Hello and welcome to this session of Body Positive. Today we're going to be focusing on breath. The ancient Hebrew word for breath is Ruach. It even sounds like a breath, and it means spirit or breath or life or wind. So pull up a chair, get yourself comfortable on it, or sit in a comfortable position on the floor. Let the floor or the chair take your weight as you relax. I'm going to lead you through a meditation on Ruach. At the beginning of time, all was dark. Nothing was formed. There was just an empty void. But hovering over this empty void was Ruach, the Spirit of God, the wind of the Spirit, the breath of life. It hovered over all that was unformed and chaotic, seeking to bring life, seeking to bring order to the chaos. And as Ruach breathed its breath of life into this formless void, chaos was replaced with order. Nothingness was replaced with land and sea, and birds of the air, and fish of the sea, and creatures that walked on the earth. Life was breathed into all that had been created through this Ruach, breath of God. The breath of God created harmony and peace and joy. But into this harmony and peace and joy, chaos came once again. The chaos of destruction and conflict and stress. But the breath of life was still present in the world. A breath that could breathe peace into conflict, that could breathe hope into despair, that could bring life into death. This breath of life continued to hover over all that it had created. This breath of life is like the four winds that are scattered to the corners and ends of the earth. A breath that can bring not only new life, but recreated life into dry areas, into deserts. It can breathe the wind that brings refreshing rain. The breath of creation hovers over us still. That breath of creation lives in us. It lives in us and can bring us peace. It can bring us courage, no matter what the circumstances. And that breath of life that is powerful enough to recreate all landscapes can bring us healing. So as we move on from meditation to mindfulness, let us be aware that this breath can bring life and healing and creation and order to our bodies, our souls, and our spirits. Maybe you want to place a hand on your head, or maybe you just want to keep your eyes closed and imagine your head. Imagine all those scattered thoughts that are going around it at the moment. Imagine confusion and lack of understanding. And as you imagine those, breathe them out and breathe in wisdom and peace to your head. Imagine the oxygen flowing through your blood, dissipating all the toxins of confusion. Think about your shoulders, where so much tension is held, and when we breathe shallowly through stress and anxiety, we limit how much we can breathe in. So just straighten your shoulders now and breathe in release for those tense muscles. Breathe out tension. Breathe in release. Breathe in life. Breathe in healing and refreshment. We think of our chest and our core, where we breathe into our rib cage. Again, so often tensed at times of tension and stress. So breathe out all that would restrict your ribs and your core. And as you breathe in a deep breath into the core of your being, imagine you are breathing that fresh and pure breath of life, breath of healing that has the power to rid you from all toxins that have gathered in the bottom of your lungs. Take 3 deep breaths if you're able. Breathe in life. Breathe out disease or dis-ease. Place a hand over your heart. Breathe out all anxiety, anxiety for your family, anxiety for your finances, anxiety for your friends, anxiety for people where you live or your work colleagues. Breathe that out. And breathe in faith. And breathe in hope. And breathe in peace. The breath that has brought peace for many generations can bring you peace and watch over those whom you care for. And we think about our whole body, our bones, our blood, our flesh. Without the breath of life, our bones, our blood, our flesh would have no life. The breath of life brings its oxygen to all that we are. So we breathe out negativity. And we breathe in positivity. We breathe out pain. We breathe in healing. Knowing that the breath of life breathed life from our first breath when we were born. And we think now, as we move on to movement, how that breath of life moves within us. Maybe at the moment we feel confined and restricted and limited. Perhaps you want to take this posture that I'm taking now, or a posture that feels like you're confined and oppressed. Even just holding that posture brings tension and pain and restriction. But let's move this restriction out. And as we open our arms, breathe in freedom. And breathe out. And breathe in again. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. And as we remember that that breath of life is in all creation, all around us, the oxygen breathed out by the trees brings us life, and what we breathe out brings the trees life. We are connected with creation. So let's scoop up that breath of life as we breathe in and out again. So breathe in and out. And in and out. And in and out. And in and out. And maybe we want to add a little bit more movement into that. So you may want to stand for this or remain seated. But we can move so much further beyond our immediate landscape. So let's use this next movement to create vision and hope for the future. What we can breathe life into, what's essential for us as we move forward into this day. So swing your arms back and forwards, and as you do, breathe in and out like a wave. We do not need to feel confined by our circumstances, for we can breathe new life and recreate things through our own breath. We can breathe life into the work that we do, the tasks that we do, whether it's cleaning our bathrooms, whether it's going for a walk. We can breathe in the connectedness that we have with all that has been created by the breath of life. And we can breathe out our uniqueness that brings life to other things around us, both creation and people. In fact, it reminds me of when you pick up a dandelion and you blow on that dandelion clock and the seeds scatter far and wide. In fact, you often don't want it to happen because you don't want the dandelions to grow elsewhere. But the potential in each one of those seeds that is released through the breath that you have given it is amazing. And you have potential. You are able to breathe life into someone else's life. You are able to bring a word of encouragement, a word of hope, a word of peace. Maybe even a word of joy. One of the ways I love to breathe joy into a situation is to blow bubbles. Perhaps if you have some bubbles, you'd like to breathe joy out of your window or on your walk. So peace and joy be with you, and may you breathe in the breath of life that has the power to bring the peace that goes beyond understanding. See you again soon.